Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what good you say? I dabbled in stand-up and stuff. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when the ass takes off his shirt.
I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean.
What's up, boys and girls? Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening on iTunes right now, please leave me a wonderful review. If you like the content, throw down a bunch of stars, if you will. I got a bunch of dates coming up. I'm so excited to be getting back on the road, doing more stand-up dates this weekend, September 30th and October 1st. I'm going to be out in New Orleans doing 4 shows at the Comedy House, New Orleans, this Friday and Saturday. Come on out if you're in the New Orleans area. Then I'll be in Bridgeport Thursday, October 20th. We rescheduled the Stress Factory show to be Thursday, October 20th. So come on out if you're in the Connecticut area. Then we got the Comedians of the Compound at the Orlando Improv Thursday, October 27th at the Orlando Improv. This is going to be a great show featuring myself, Gino Bisconti, Anthony Cumia, Alex Stein, Lila Hart. It's going to be so much fun. If you're in town for the Geeks and Gamers FNT meetup, which is happening that Sunday, just come on out to the show. It's the same. Basically, give yourself a long, fun weekend out in Orlando. Then I got a weekend in Long Island, Friday, November 4th and Saturday, November 5th at the Brokerage Comedy Club in Belmore. Come on out strong, Islanders. Then we got the Compound Media Censored TV show in New York City, Thursday, November 10th. Venue to be announced the day of, because we don't want the show to be canceled. And then I'll be back in Jersey Thursday, November 17th at the new Brunswick Stress Factory out there in New Jersey. Then I'll be back in California doing a weekend in San Diego, Friday, February 24th and Saturday, February 25th at the Mic Drop Comedy Club out there in San Diego, California. First time back out in California since the old pandemic. Excited to get back there and see what's going on. I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this podcast, Cushy Dreams. Yes, Cushy Dreams is #1 for smokable CBD flower and Delta 8. I personally really love these pre-rolls. They come individually wrapped and also in very chic packages of 5. You could just pop this into your purse. Very portable. There's different blends like Relax, Create, Dream, Hustle, Energy, Peace. So whatever you want to do with your day, whatever the vibe you want, Cushy Dreams has you covered. Check out these awesome little pre-rolls. And they've also got these brand new super cool gummies. These are awesome. They're Delta 9 THC gummies. Each gummy contains 10 milligrams of THC, and they come in 4 euphoric flavors: strawberry, sour watermelon, green apple, and tangerine. They taste delicious. They help you relax. They smell good too. I would take one before the show, but I don't want to get too relaxed. Go to cushydreams.com. That's KUSHY dreams.com. And at the checkout, use promo code CMP to get 20% off your order. That's the first, second, third. All the orders get 20% off. So check it out. Go to cushydreams.com. Use that promo code CMP to get your 20% off and get yourself relaxing in no time. Yeah. Thanks, Cushy Dreams. I want to give a quick shout out to my wonderful my other sponsor, actually. Yes. I'm so excited because Copy My Crypto is not only a sponsor of the podcast, but they're also going to be sponsoring our content house coming up next month in Orlando, Florida. Guys, the recession is underway. Fuel is through the roof. Food prices are insane, and people have begun to lose their homes. But there's no reason to be scared because recessions are the easiest time to make money. For example, with the last recession, those who invested in property and stocks more than doubled their money inside of 2 years. But no market rose like crypto, where people made 5, 10, 50, even 100 times over the same period. That's what James McMahon did. And he has a YouTube channel called Crypto with James. And he told his 22,000 subscribers to invest in the same 26 coins that he did. Had you invested $100 into each one, your profit would be over $123,000. Damn, that's... Why didn't I know about this back then? His top pick of the year is a crypto called Phantom. Went up a staggering 692 times. Remember, this is all public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify it for yourself. James will be sharing every coin he binds during the recession on his Copy My Crypto membership site. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto, which is my situation. You don't know how to, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to invest either, which is also describes me. You simply just copy along what he does. You can get started today. It's super easy. Join the 2,800 members who copy James by going to copymycrypto.com/Mayr. That's copymycrypto.com/MAYR. It's your call. You can thrive in this recession or be another victim. Woo! Go to the site and read every word right now. Ooh. That sounds inspiring. I'm feeling inspired to get a t-shirt from flagranttriggers.com. Okay. All right. I'm working with a lot of moving parts here. Guys, check out flagranttriggers.com. There's a lot of us getting some t-shirts on this site. I know X-Ray Girl has a t-shirt on this site as well. But we got the classic Rootin' for Putin shirt, the Stuttering Johnny Dabbler shirt. We got a Simpcast shirt, Mayor. We got the latest shirt that says, "You sound vaccinated." The Make America Great Again shirt and the Smayer shirt. $27 includes shipping. These shirts are super soft. Check them out. Go to flagranttriggers.com. Get your Chrissie Mayr shirts today. All right. Without further ado, she's been on the channel. Everyone knows her and loves her, and everyone demanded she come back. So here she is today. One of my all-time favorite content creators on YouTube. Just a super intelligent woman. I really enjoy. I feel like her videos should be shown to college classes. That's how smart I think she is. Welcome back to the show, Gothix.
Oh, Heidi ho! How you doing? I was digging the infomercials. I was like, "Ooh, girl, she's selling drugs." I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my God. Here I am selling drugs and crypto. I never would have guessed this would have been my life in 20, but I'm doing it. I'd
That's
rather,
good.
yeah, I'd rather be doing this than what I was doing for 15 years, which was like always in a day job, working for somebody who like I know hated me.
I can relate to that.
So what was your worst day job?
Can I select all of them? I don't think I actually had a job that I was in love with. It's all corporate America, customer service. Maybe I would say maybe out of all of them, the most chillaxed ones were where I would be working in the warehouse. Like, I worked for like shipping companies, and I don't have to deal with angry customers. I can just throw packages around. So, and it's a workout. So, I would say that.
Yeah, it's fun. Get to touch a lot
Yeah.
of box. I don't know. I don't have a joke for this. But there is something nice about kind of being like left alone, because that is often like the worst part of these day jobs. And I found like the more coworkers I had around me, the more I would start to like really obsess whether these people liked me or not, like if they invited me to happy hour or not. And then I'd be like, no, these are not supposed to be your friends. Like these are just people who are in your space for,
Yeah.
whatever, 7-8 hours a day. So
Yeah.
crazy.
For the most part, I don't Whenever I've left jobs, I don't maintain friendships after I leave, with the exception of my husband. I met my husband at a customer service job. Otherwise,
Oh,
I don't talk to anybody.
were you doing the same position, or
Yeah.
was he calling you for customer service, and you were like, "I'm gonna keep him on"?
No, he was working at the same place. I was working there before him, and then he came in and he started talking to me. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Because up until that point, I didn't really talk to people all that much. I was kind of a hermit at my job, which is like I go there to work. I don't really go to jobs to like make friends.
That's so smart. I wish I had known that years ago, because it's really just it's so much better. You really do kind of have to break up with your job, and like if you're trying to text and like be friends with the people who still work there, it's like, ugh, why?
Yeah, it's weird.
It is very weird. Yeah, I think my least favorite was, oh my God, I did work for this woman at NYU, and she left like a nasty voicemail on my desk phone. Just I don't know, I forget what it was about, but then she thought she hung up, and then I could hear her like screaming at her like young daughter, like nasty. And I was like, oh, it revealed a lot about how this lady acted at
All
home. Like I
right.
already knew she was kind of horrible to me. So I just sort of left it on the machine for the next assistant after I got the boot. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just leave this blinking for the next gal.
Yeah. There you go.
So your content is always fire, but I've been especially loving your most recent, or maybe it's not the most recent video, but the one you did about Ariel.
Yeah.
Is really, really fantastic. The Little Mermaid, it's being remade for a modern audience, they say. And there's just been a lot of conversation online, for and against. Oh, why does skin color matter so much? If it's a good story, why does it matter if she's black now? And then of course, you cue all the online channels, showing videos. Oh, like we showed the Ariel teaser to these little black girls. Look, they're flipping out. They're so happy to see somebody who looks like them. It's like, how can you question that? Look how happy these little girls are. And there's definitely a back and forth going on of like, oh, why does it bother you so much? It's like, well, why can't you guys come up with unique storylines? And no one's trying to remake the Black Panther into like a pale Irish guy. So I really loved this most recent video, and you started to explore. There's an idea that you talked about. I think it connects so beautifully from our entertainment into our culture, into our politics, and it's the idea that the mainstream, or the man, or the machine is using Black people as useful idiots.
Mm.
Through I just feel like there's kind of like a large, and you really broke this down so nicely. And it happened with Black Lives Matter. It started with Black Lives Matter, or at least cranked it up more so. Just the idea of like, once you can emotionally manipulate people versus leaving them to their own devices to use rational or critical thought, they're easier to control. And I just want to know, when did you start to see this trend like really crank up?
Oh, this was literally 2020 woke me up. Like I had some problems. I don't know if we talked about this in the last time I was here, but I got canceled by Black Twitter like maybe a few months before the George Floyd incident. And I didn't start putting things together until BLM came around again. And I realized that I kept getting dragged online by a bunch of Black leftists. And I'm like, what is the correlation here? Because I'm Black. Clearly, I'm not anti-Black. I'm married to a Black man. I am Black. I know what I am. So what is the correlation here? And I realized that the people that keep going after me are the people that are fixated on skin color and think that racism is something that is holding Black people in America back. Like the racism as people define it in this day and age is pretty much, they don't like me, or they said something that I don't like. They said something that was offensive. No one is stopping someone because they're Black from getting a job, or no one is targeting someone because they're Black. That's all that's all sort of like this social conditioning that starts with our surroundings, our culture. And you mentioned how a lot of people are recording their kids as they react to the Black Little Mermaid, and they're so excited about it. And I find that interesting because kids don't know they want something or hate something until they know. Like, I know a few people as adults who are so excited about Ariel being black and how representation matters and all this stuff. But I know damn well that they used to watch Disney movies as a kid and color wasn't even an issue. And for Ariel in particular, she's one of my favorite Disney princesses. And when I used to watch her, color wasn't even a subject. It was like, I just like this character. I like her voice. I like her style. I like the story. And I could relate to them without having any correlation to her being black.
So you never, as a little, and The Little Mermaid was probably my favorite Disney movie growing up too. It was like the first one where like we bought the tape, and it was like that, Beauty and the Beast, and like Aladdin, like all in a row. I was like, ooh, these are like my bread and butter. Would watch them over and over again, and I just love The Little Mermaid. Did you ever, growing up, feel, man, like I wish I could see more representation? Like, was that ever a thought to you?
No. And it also, I think I've had actually, I if I think back, I started to see the symptoms of a race-obsessed society when I was a kid, now that I think about it, because throughout my life, I would have people who are black, even in my own family, they would make subtle comments like, are you trying to act white? Like, why do you like this white people music? Why do you like dressing like a white person? And those are really troubling statements in itself, because I think it is, if you want to talk about racist, it is so racist to assume that there is a black uniform and a black way of thinking. But that's sort of, like I said, that's the social conditioning and getting people to think like black is this.
It's so limiting.
It's so limiting. It's so dangerous too, because when it gets down to the political conversation, you're black, you're supposed to vote this way and think this way. It's like, hold up, I am free. I am not a slave. So none of this psychological slavery, please.
And same thing if you look at how women dressed in like the 50s or the 60s, like everyone, people were slimmer. There weren't as much preservatives in our food. People were like just healthier in general. It was before all the plastic surgery fads were coming through, and no one was getting like fake asses. Like women were just black, white, whatever you were, like you were, the body type was just slimmer. People had tucked things in. They wore dresses. Like people were more just dressed up. But yet there are some people who if you were to describe that look, they'd be like, oh, you're just dressing white. Whereas like, oh, what if someone just likes to dress retro, or someone likes to dress like the mod style from the 60s or whatever? So it is very limiting, and it kind of pigeonholes you.
Yeah.
And it's a racist thought. Be like, oh, you have to dress black. What does that even mean?
Right. What does that even mean? And the sad thing about it too is that people, a lot of these blacktivists, I call them, they don't even realize that they're creating the stereotypes that they criticize people for perpetuating. So if they're saying like, if they're criticizing a white person for a stereotype, it's like, well, hold on a second. You're also assuming that black people are supposed to act this way. And if I were, for example, I know someone who, we were having a conversation not too long ago, and they were talking about how someone in their family went to a Halloween party and they were dressed ghetto. But he was, the way that this guy was describing it was if this person was being racist. And I'm like, well, the only reason you would think it's racist is if you associate ghetto with with black.
Right. Who do you think is in the ghetto? Because all types of people live in the ghetto.
Right. And it's the same thing with all these blacktivists. It's like the only reason you're getting upset and you think that this person is offending black women is because you think that this is a black woman thing. You're just putting people in boxes.
Yeah. How much I guess blowback did you get over this like Little Mermaid kind of breakdown?
Bruh. Well, this is okay. So the Little Mermaid movie is actually this live action one is my origin story. for me even creating the YouTube content that I'm doing, because that was when I first got canceled, was because I heard about the Little Mermaid when it was first released, and I went on Twitter. I was like, can we just stop accusing people of being racist because they have a problem with this new character? Because that's such an emotional way of thinking as it is, for you to just assume that everyone is racist and everyone that has a problem with the movie is white, and that's just not true. And I got called anti-black. I hate myself. I'm trying to hurt black women. I'm perpetuating racial stereotypes, whatever. And I got dragged, and it was that event that got me to eventually go on YouTube and start making the commentary videos. So as far as the backlash for my video I just made, I really don't see much, honestly. And I don't know, perhaps Black Twitter has realized that I don't back down, or maybe people are realizing that maybe this representation diversity thing is full of crap.
Yeah. And you mentioned in your video these, right, I guess you would call them blacktivists, but there are, these Hollywood actresses, like we have, for example, here, Sophia Namvetti, who plays Disa in The Rings of Power, which is the modern remake of Lord of the Rings. She, you have this super cut of her going, first female dwarf. And you're explaining how, like, if your opening line is first either, gender or skin color, it's probably not going to be very good. And then there's Lizzo, of course, from her speech here. She's
to change some of these laws that are oppressing us.
I feel like when Lizzo on stage saying we have to change these laws that are oppressing us, I don't know that this resonated with the people she was trying to resonate with, because she is one of the richest. Like, she's doing better than everybody. Yet she still looks like this. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not being like fat shaming at this particular moment, but like, you can buy something that looks a little bit better on you than, I don't know what's happening here. This looks
well, that her audience gave her shit because she was trying to lose weight, and that's apparently fat phobic.
I knew it because they've given shit to Adele, Rebel Wilson, these women that were like known and became beloved for their size. Fat women need other fat women because they cannot have the women around them losing weight, getting healthy, being happier. It's the most enraging thing.
Apparently.
So Lizzo's out here saying we have to vote for these laws, immediately mixing it. It's entertainment, but she's immediately bringing in politics. And then you have Viola Davis is another really great example that you cited. And she is part of this new movie. It's not, I don't think it's out yet.
I think it is.
Oh, it is?
Woman King, yeah.
Woman King. This is the latest Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, no, am I about to have a ad play? How embarrassing. I have to sign up again for YouTube Premium, and my card got switched. Okay, now I'm motivated to do this. Frank is giving me shit. He's like, what is wrong with you that you don't have this figured out? Okay, here we go.
Why work like that. But the icing on the cake were the comments made by the lead actress, Viola Davis, who said,
so if you don't come see it, then you're sending a message that Black women cannot lead the box office globally.
This is the equivalent of, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black.
Literally the same thing.
Are supporting that narrative. And if you want to normalize it, come see it the same way you would, the same way you would Black Panther, Spider-Man. Iron Man, Spider-Man, or any other movie that doesn't have any of us in it. Yeah. Or one or two of us in it.
So,
oh my God, this is so crazy. It's like, see this movie or you're not a good person.
Yeah, and maybe my eyes were deceiving me, but I'm pretty sure there was a literal army of Black people in Black Panther. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, and I loved Black Panther. Like, I don't know. I'm not like the biggest nerd, so I tend to enjoy a lot of these movies, and then I watch them, second, third time. Okay, I can find more things to be critical about, but it's like, I don't think do you feel like people went to see Black Panther just because there were Black people in it, or because it was a great story?
Yes. absolutely. Like, I am not a big comic book nerd. My husband is. So there was definitely, I saw the perspective of the comic book fans going out, but from what I saw, by and large, it was just a bunch of black people walking into the cinema with kente cloths, doing all this stuff for some fake prince that doesn't actually exist. Like, they turned it into a culture as if they've just, like, black people have just been liberated. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Now, do you think these actresses are, because I feel like Hollywood and politics and the machine are so interlinked, do you think they're like kind of told what to say, or do you think they genuinely believe the things they're saying? Like when Lizzo does the speech, or when Viola's on the red carpet, or same thing with like Sophia when she's doing these interviews, or do you feel like they're encouraged to kind of take a certain point of view?
It's a mixture of both. I think from the top of the food chain, Hollywood tries to get people that already have that line of thinking. You know, if you get someone that feels like black people are marginalized and lack representation, then that's going to be easier. So once you get them there, or even if maybe you can mold them a little bit while they're working, you can. It's almost like it's positive reinforcement. It's if you get someone that knows, hey, if I talk about skin color, or if I talk about oppression, I get more attention, I get more sponsors, I get more brand deals. If I don't talk about it, then I'm letting down my people or whatever. So it's sort of like a subtle way of getting people to do that, because, like, let's be real, like if we look in Hollywood, like for example, you'll see I'll see a lot of actors that are very outwardly like Christian, right? And they're very religious, and they get treated like garbage. But then if you get a black activist on there that talks about, you know, blackity black, they get all the praise. So it's sort of like a no-brainer. And this is the problem with people that worship money. It's if you're willing to change the way that you act and the things that you say if you know that you're gonna get a paycheck for it. And I'm guilty of it too. Like before I got on YouTube, there was a time where I had like a sponsor kit that I would send to companies that I wanted to work with. And I would have like my mission statement: I want to help amplify people of color on Twitch, because at that time I was told that black people, it was harder for them to grow as a content creator. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just, you know, help lead the charge. And then I started growing, and I realized that the people that were watching my content, none of them followed me because I was black. They followed me because they liked my content. And then I realized this is nonsense.
Yeah. Wow. It's really like, I feel like they're really just trying to pigeonhole people. It's like, you can't be a content creator who also happens to be black. And it's like, well, aren't you going to speak on these, you know, aren't you going to obsess about skin color? Like, and I know it's like, maybe it sounds hypocritical because like, here we are talking about it, maybe obsessing about it. But I just really love the way that you broke it down. And of course, the whole, I guess basically the plot of The Woman King is it's the strong black women are heroes over these European slave traders. And like, again, that furthers to solidify like the message of like, we are programming you to keep hating white people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it sucks because like, if I didn't know Hollywood's agenda, I might go see The Woman King because it looks cool. But the fact that they conveniently left out the fact that that tribe sold off their own black people is crazy to me.
And so here's out of People or MSN. Viola Davis and Woman King director defend against backlash, calling for boycott of movie. The Woman King actress Viola Davis and director Gina Prince Blythewood are speaking out about the boycott Woman King social media backlash. In an interview with Variety earlier this week, Davis was asked about the film, which some feel doesn't address the Dahomey Kingdom's involvement in slavery, the outlet noted. First of all, I agree with Gina Prince Blythewood saying is you're not going to win an argument on Twitter, said the Oscar winner 57. We entered the story where the kingdom was in flux at a crossroads. She added, they were looking to find some way to keep their civilization and kingdom alive. It wasn't until the late 1800s that they were decimated. Most of the story is fictionalized. It has to be. Produced by Davis and her husband, Julius Tennant. The Woman King is the remarkable story of Agoji, I'm saying that probably wrong, the all-female unit of warriors who protected the African kingdom of Dahomey in the 1800s with skills and a fierceness unlike anything the world has ever seen. So I did not hear about this hashtag boycott woman king until today. And I'm sure this is being spun, making it, well, if you're posting about this, of boycotting this movie, you must be a racist.
Yeah. Have you seen the because again, I don't really pay as close attention to this as much as my husband does, but I guess on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a perfect score, which is unheard of. And the theory is that they're bots because the reviews are so vague, like stunning, brave, and they're like 30 minutes apart from each other. So I find that very sus.
Okay, so this is Rotten Tomatoes. Audience score 99%, tomato meter 94%. Critics consensus, all hail Viola Davis, the Woman King rules. The audience says, with a fantastic cast and an action-packed story that also manages to be meaningful, the Woman King makes it rain. Oh God. Wow, very high scores.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say fake news. I don't believe it.
Interesting. Yeah. And I like how you break down these concepts of selective diversity, emotional manipulation versus, encouraging people to think critically for themselves. It's almost like it feels like, we talk about like, what's the solution here? How do you get people to kind of like break the spell, like the corporate spell or like the liberal spell or like whatever you want to call it? It's all kind of related. Do you think the solution is obviously getting folks to think for themselves, which means, does that mean they have to completely kind of like break with the group identity? It's tricky though, because it's like if they can make you feel a certain way, they can make you vote a certain way, spend your money a certain way, stay with that boyfriend or not, get married or not. If you glamorize single motherhood, there's going to be, and you take away the societal pressure, like, no, marry your kid's dad, try to make it work. It's tricky. So I guess my question is like, what would you say to somebody who would be like, look, I feel like in my life I have experienced real racism. How do you, I guess, come to terms with that? Like when there is this kind of like psyop racism, like, or this, they're putting a racist lens in front of everybody's face, being like, no, you have to see everything that negative that happens to you in your life is because of racism. So it's like, how does someone discern between like, no, this is actual racism, and no, this is how people want you to view your life?
So what I would say in that scenario of someone legitimately experienced racism in their life, I would ask, you're here, right? You're here. So why are you worrying about that? Like my perspective has changed over the past few years. And one of the things I have learned is how to reframe the way that I look at adversity. I don't look at something as like, woe is me. Why do bad things keep happening to me? Why is everyone out to get me? I don't look at it that way. I look at it in like I said before, I recently became a believer in God. So like I look at it as like his way of preparing me to learn something. And there is always something that you can learn in every single situation, regardless of how bad it is. Like even when I got canceled, I lost all of my sponsors. I was depressed. I was suicidal. Like I had a lot of things going on, and I can't see the silver lining in it at that moment. But at that moment, I'm like, okay, so I needed emotional resilience. I needed to learn how to persevere. I needed to diversify my income and try other things, because apparently content creation is a very inconsistent business, So I learned so many things, and that's what I would also say to someone who's experienced racism, because like I said earlier, a lot of people define racism as that's a microaggression. You said something that is hurtful or harmful or whatever. Unless someone is stopping you right there from living your life, and they're doing so because of your skin color, then it shouldn't be an issue. And this is the other part of it too. A lot of people, we saw it with like the BLM situation. They said, well, police are targeting Black people. How do you know that? What do you mean? How do I know that? It's like, no. There's a problem with perception in this country. A lot of Black people and a lot of allies perceive things as racism, but they're not actually racist. They just take black and white, put it together.
Yeah,
It must be racist.
Like someone just bumped into you on the subway. It doesn't
Right.
mean more than that. Like, or someone's
Right.
drunk, or like, right.
Right.
Things
So
just happen.
so
People are
even
rude. People have a bad day.
Exactly. They just have a bad day. And like I said, in that situation, where's the silver lining? Where is the moment where you can learn from your adversity in that thing is to ask yourself, how did I react to these situations? What, is my initial reaction whenever I encounter a racist person to pull out my phone and start yelling at them and calling them a Karen or something like that? What does that say about me? I'm kind of emotionally unstable, I would say. I should probably work on that.
It seems like they're kind of feeding like an emotional addiction. Like, I think fear, anger, you can get addicted to these emotions. And right, when you have that lens placed in front of you, like everything is about race. The things you get or don't get in life are because of race. And it's almost like they want to train people to live in fear and react in anger. And when that is someone's paradigm, like how does someone begin to pull away from that when that is how they understand the whole world to be? Maybe everyone around them sees it that way. Their entertainment, even the comedy they watch kind of supports it. Oh, we all just make fun of white people, or we all like, the stereotypes become so ingrained.
That has been a very difficult thing that I am trying to figure out. Because I'm an observer. I like to I'm very quiet on social media because oftentimes I'm just watching. and you can learn a lot by just observing. And one thing I've realized is that it's more we're dealing with two different types of people, I think, in the world. And I think, and this is no disrespect to anyone, but I find that the people who are more susceptible to falling for all of the programming and social conditioning tend to be those that don't have loyalty to a higher power. So instead, they have loyalty to the guy on TV, the president, CDC, whoever they can appeal to authority. That's who they'll look to. So,
like, what's my team?
Yeah, what's my team, right or left? That's so those people are more susceptible from my observation. And then from there, the big problem is that a lot of people don't like to self-criticize. They don't like to look in the mirror. A lot of people are prideful. They don't like admitting that they're wrong. They're afraid of engaging with someone who has different ideas because there's a potential of, well, maybe I've been spreading nonsense this entire time, or maybe what they're saying is true and it's going to hurt my feelings. So it's like trying to, what I think the big thing is that people are just so prideful, and it's like, how do you get them to stop being that for a while and realize that, you gotta start thinking for yourself. But that's the first step is believing, is understanding that maybe you don't know everything,
Yeah, and it's so easy not to be self-aware or self-critical when you are taught and society reinforces, no, you are part of a system that will keep you down no matter what you do, no matter how good of a person you are. You will always be a victim because of what you look like. And these are the people that are actively doing it to you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also one thing that I like to ask for people that are really, really stuck on this whole representation and fixating on skin color. It's like, what has that done for you? Like, I think oftentimes, and you see this with a lot of people that still support BLM, what has BLM done for you or anyone?
Did you get a mansion bought for you? Like, did you get a BLM hot tub installed?
I didn't even get a bumper sticker or a keychain, let alone a mansion. And people can't answer that. And I think like I said, people, they get so committed to what they believe, and it would be the shame that they would feel to realize that they've been played is too much for some people.
Right. You're committed to the team when you have a lack of religion, like faith, loyalty to, say, family, your other like stronger values in life. I think, it, yeah, you're so if you're not with Black Lives Matter anymore, even just to say that sounds bad. Oh, does that mean Black lives don't matter, or like, oh, they don't matter as much as they did, or like what? Well, now what do I believe? And same thing with people who are like obsessed with COVID and they made it their whole personality.
Yes, yes. By the way, I like that phrase, "You sound vaccinated," because it's beautiful. I love it. um,
and then like the best of the comments, like, well, some people were forced to. Da, da, da.
No. Nobody was forced to. I hate that. Forced to take it. No, you weren't. You weren't forced. You got coerced into taking it. That's different.
I do have empathy for people who, like, they literally were like, I was about to lose my job.
Yeah.
I have these people that I need to support. It really fucking sucks. And I feel so grateful that I could take the risk and get fired from my day job. And like, I wasn't gonna, starve. So, but yeah, people didn't realize that they really didn't have to.
Right. Yeah. No, I had some people in my family do it too. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I would have streamed for 50 hours a week to help pay for your bills.
My dad did it to, I think, impress a girlfriend. Like, my dad did it because he was like dating this new woman and she made him believe like, oh, like none of us are going to get to see our grandkids unless we do this. And like, I think he just was like, oh, I want this new girlfriend to hang around. I think that's why he did it.
Oh, that's so bizarre.
But he didn't get boosted.
Man. Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's like it's so hard. Like, you commit to a team and then the team doesn't do anything for you. And then the team also fucks up publicly in a big way. It's hard to pull. Nobody wants to be told that they're wrong. Nobody wants to be told that they're being psyoped or emotionally manipulated. No one wants to be told that they're weak.
Yeah.
No one wants to be like preached to. So,
and the other thing is too is for a lot of these Blacktivists, or even, I can't even just say explicitly just Blacktivists, because you also see the same thing happening with the gays and the trans and the indigenous and every single category that you can think of where people are fixated on something other than what's in here or in here. You'll see a lot of people that are so militant with their identity, all of these activists that are so angry, in the trans movement, you hear that this you're denying our existence. No one's denying your existence. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Who said it doesn't matter? Like,
remember the 90s? Everybody mattered and it wasn't a thing. Like,
and the thing that these people don't understand, because they're so militant about their identity, is like, okay, well, let's look at your behavior and question if your behavior is going to aid you in your goal. If your goal is what is it? Are you trying to make the world more inclusive? Are you trying to just have more diversity? How are you going to do that when you are screaming at people and you're instilling fear in them? That fear isn't a good motivator. You might get people to jump on board with a certain idea, but it's not permanent, because, like I said, someone that's in fear, they're not going to respect you. So, yeah, like it's a stupid.
Yeah, and I almost wonder if, so, everybody knows, politics downstream from culture, or is it the other way around?
It's
brain is mush today.
Culture, politics downstream from culture. Yeah.
And so if the mainstream media is kind of controlled by the left, as our kind of mainstream politics, I think, and culture as a whole, and they're all kind of working together to get the most votes they can for the Democratic Party. But if you move away from how somebody looks into their values, I think statistically, like, Hispanics and Black folks are more like, if you look at, I think, a lot of their values, it's like it may not necessarily line up with the Democratic Party, but they obsess and they keep it about skin color. And it's almost like they're starting to lose a lot of these Black and Hispanic voters, especially over the last couple of years. Like, people are just like kind of waking up to it. And it's almost like the powers that be know this, and they are moving away. Like, oh, we have to obsess about a new victim group, or at least add on another one. And that is the alphabet squad, the mentally ill and illegal immigrants. Like, these people are now all going to replace the Black and Hispanic people who are waking up.
Exactly. You girl, you've been doing your research. Yes. Yeah, that is
watching your videos. Like, really, I don't know. They really have. I really feel like they should be shown to brainwash college students, because it just, like, you explain things in a way that really makes sense.
You're gonna have to sit them there and strap their arms down and tape their eyelids open if you're gonna do that, because I don't think they'd willingly want to watch. But no, you're now my question is, did you watch the have you got a chance to see the Uncle Tom 2 documentary?
Ooh, no.
Yeah. Have you seen the first one?
No.
Okay. So Uncle Tom, the first one is free. Just go to uncletom.com. The second one, it just came out. You can use my code Gothix if you want to buy it. Get a discount. But let me give you a brief summary of part 2. Part 1 goes into like the true story of Black conservatives in America, and they sort of dive into how, as you just said, the new victim group that the Democrats are going to utilize are illegal immigrants. And they talk about how history has sort of been curated to condition Black America into thinking in sort of this collective, Blacktivist mindset. Part 2 goes into pretty much it's the backstory of how Black people went from, let's say, right after slavery, they were having their own businesses, lots of success. They were had full families, no sex before marriage. Like, it was very traditional. And then they kind of walked down to like where we have now. Like, how did it get there? Back then, like in the 40s, 50s, Black people in America were deeply religious. And now, one of the problems that I have noticed as a new believer is a lot of, I guess you can call them Black churches, have been subverted with social justice propaganda. So now you can go to church, instead of learning about God, a lot of churches, they're teaching you about Black Lives Matter, systemic racism, all of this left-leaning
How
crap.
did this happen? Like, that seems like such an aggressive takeover.
It's the long game, and it even goes down to the I forget what you call them, but they're like, is it seminary schools where you go there and you learn about God, you learn about the history. They've done the same thing in those schools, where instead of teaching like true biblical history, they're teaching about social justice, anti-racism, and all this stuff. And so it's like this was a long process, like 30, 40 years of this long game.
They've propped it up to be the moral high ground, to like this way of thinking, social justice, equity, all of it is. So people who believe this are morally superior to everybody else.
Yes. And so, it goes back to in the Uncle Tom 2 movie, where they talk about that back then, when for the most part, Black people were deeply religious, they weren't fixated on skin color. They know that they were enslaved. They know that some people didn't like them because of their skin color, but they still persevered. They were able to live productive lives. They were a lot more happier. Their communities were safer. The common denominator there is God. And that's and the reason why, for context, in the Bible, everyone is viewed the same. Like, there's no, you're Black, you're white, you're Asian. It's the same thing. What social justice and this Blacktivist stuff is trying to do is to segregate and say, oh, no, you are different. and that's the problem. And
and you're not equal, and you're not capable of the same greatness as your neighbor.
Yes, exactly. So it's this goes a lot deeper than people realize. And but I think the first thing that people could do to start the process of deprogramming themselves, which is very difficult because some people don't want to believe perhaps they've been programmed. But I think social media, get off of it. Get off of it. Seriously. Like, these algorithms curate things and sort of like build this programming, and same thing with like television and all these streaming platforms. I don't have any streaming platforms. I steal passwords every now and then, but like I don't subscribe. But a lot of, go outside, read, do something that's not
Right.
having curated stuff on your TV.
Yeah. And just like uplift your people, like your squad, like your close crew, your family, your friends. Like, yeah, make sure you're talking to everybody frequently.
Yeah. And and I would also say even like the your people, because you mentioned that.
What do you mean your people?
What do you mean your people? What are you talking about? Yeah, we got to start seeing the diversity in thought as opposed to skin color. Like what a big problem is that so many people assume you guys are on the same team because you share the same skin color, and that is so dangerous when we talk about like the political realm. It's like, oh, this is the first black female something in politics. Terrible policies.
Oh yeah, like people have been saying about the new Italian prime minister that was elected, this conservative woman. Everybody wants more women in power until one reaches the top and they're conservative. And now I'm seeing hit pieces come out on this woman. She's fascist. She's,
it's sick.
It's been pretty crazy. I'm like, wow, they act quickly.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of super chats from Fook Face. A little dab will do you. Thank you for the greatest bit of all time. Okay, that's about Stuttering John. Thank you from NVIDIA. Gothix should play you in the eventual biodoc. I would love that.
I'll do it. Can I be the diversity hire?
Oh my God. From Hughesy Entertainment. Breaking news. Hugh Jackman is playing Wolverine in Deadpool 3. Talk it up, women. Is this true?
Is it?
Hugh Jackman, Deadpool 3. Wow. Oh, he's back as Wolverine for Deadpool. He's still himself. All right. That's cool. I'm excited about that. From Waffle. Thank you for the 30. I don't know what kind of currency that is, but thank you. Stop saying they canceled you. That's so dehumanizing. It makes my blood boil. Who the hell are they to cancel you? F them. Don't give them power. They can't cancel you if you won't let them.
I haven't let them cancel me. That's just the descriptor that I'm using, because otherwise I would have to
catch-all phrase. Yeah,
it's a catch-all phrase. They bullied me, I guess. I don't know.
Canceling, like when I say it, I will say it to describe like a large group of people came after me.
Yeah.
For either a joke I said or something I did online that was like, seen as un-PC or something.
How often do you get canceled?
I think not as often anymore because I never bend the knee. Like I never apologize for jokes. Like I got hit pretty hard during the pandemic. I put out this like kung flu fighting, like goofy little video with like a bunch of comics, like each singing a line of like everybody was kung flu fight. It was like maybe before the time Steven Crowder did something kind of similar too, and that was crazy. I had like the woke mob after me. I had like the Asians after me. The woke Asians, they were like subscribing me to like Asian newsletters. It was like they got very creative with what they were doing.
Wow.
Articles. But it's been happening like in chunks basically since like 2018, like a little bit here and there. And I feel like now I've just kind of firmly like embraced whatever this is, like as a non-mainstream comedian. And either it's happening less or it's just not affecting me as much because I just don't give a fuck. It's hard to know, right? You'll never know like what gigs you were turned away from or not considered for, or who,
It's hard to know, but I don't even try to think about it. Like, sometimes I'll say some stuff on my channel and I'll just see like thousands of people just unfollow, and it's just like, I'm not even gonna look. Like it's gonna go up again because things are always shifting. And that's not my audience, and those, maybe you weren't meant for those events anyway.
That's true. I had a bunch of people unfollow me because I was talking with a friend about the Queen, and she had just died, obviously. And I think I released this clip the same day as her funeral, and like it was my friend Ashton, and she was just going off about how much she hates the Queen, like fuck the monarchy, like going off. And I was just kind of like listening, but people unfollowed me because of that. And so you just never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's just, you hit a nerve. From Nightbreed, the last U.S. slave ship, the Clotilda, was loaded up in Dahomey. Her last passenger, Matilda McCreer, died in 1940 in Alabama. Ooh, a little history tidbit. Thank you.
Ooh.
From Matthew Hammond for 5. How disrespectful to Black women that came before Viola Davis. One example is Whoopi Goldberg, who starred in several movies with box office success.
Now Whoopi's woke too, so difficult.
Whoopi's getting so big. I'm just like, I feel for her knees. From Husey, Viola Davis hates Halle Berry. Is that true?
I didn't hear that. I didn't know that.
Ooh. He got some inside gossip there from Matthew Hammond. Viola forgot about Halle Berry and Queen Latifah, too.
Those don't count, though, because, they're not her.
Because she's doing it now. And people have short memories. From Husey again, Viola Davis is jealous that she didn't get to twerk at the end of She-Hulk with Megan Thee Stallion. That must be it.
I did not watch that show, but I saw clips, and the amount of times that people said, "Is that Megan Thee Stallion, the top hip hop artist," or something like that? Like they had this long tagline. Like, was that in the contract just to keep saying that?
Oh, wow. I think they were really just trying to attract an audience that they were not attracting for that show. I don't know. I think people that are fans of Megan Thee Stallion are not. I just feel like they're probably like on TikTok or watching Real Housewives, or like I just don't think they're going to be watching She-Hulk.
Yeah, I don't think so.
From NVIDIA, Uncle Tom watch party in Discord. Yes, it's a great idea. Yeah, I want to set that up. That's a really
the second one is way more intense. You're gonna shit your pants.
Oh my god. Okay, I like that. That's fun to me. I'll keep extra pants nearby. From Furby Slayer, Gothix, they went after the Black community through the church. It was part of demonizing guns and more. Why are the grifters and hustlers reverends?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a guy named Manning Johnson, Black guy who was a part of the Communist Party in like 1954, I think. He left or something like that. And he wrote a book called Color, Communism, and Common Sense. And he has a section on there about how the communists utilize Black pastors to subvert their churches. Because you have 200 people come into church. All you got to do is get a communist pastor in there. And he's preaching all of his propaganda to the churchgoers. This was back then.
It happens so like it seems very sneaky to me. Like and I feel like I just noticed it all at once. Like we were driving in the city, I drove past this church and it had like not even just the LGBT flag, like the super updated version with like the circle in the middle and the half like the triangle. And I was like, wow, how many remakes of this flag are they gonna do?
Yeah, it looks like a military flag, like a military ranking.
Yeah. It's a little creepy. From Young Pei Chang, if Gothix had red hair for a bit, I wouldn't be mad at all.
I don't know if I'd look good with red hair.
I think that might look strange. From JS Pena, Gothix, have you met Eric July?
I have. Eric's a cool guy.
Not all Black people know each other, JS Pena.
That's funny.
You're like, but we do know each other. From Daniel, and great to see how well Gothix is doing. Keep it up. We're proud of you.
Well, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, you're crushing it, girl. You're fucking kicking ass. You know who else is kicking ass? Let's see. I'm going to do a really smooth segue here. Rachel Dolezal.
Oh, no.
Did you even know that she was on OnlyFans?
I didn't.
I guess this is our theme for the show. Race figure Rachel Dolezal's nude OnlyFans photos leak on social media. Yikes. I mean, she has a decent body, I guess. I didn't know about this. So notorious race figure Rachel Dolezal has yet another scandal on her hands. The ex-NAACP chapter president, who was embroiled in scandal after being outed as falsely posing as a Black woman, joined OnlyFans last year, sharing frisky photos for fans who forked out a fee. But on Tuesday, several nude photos from her page leaked on social media, sending the 44-year-old hurtling into the headlines once again. Dolezal's rep told TMZ that the raunchy images were authentic and said the mom of 3. They always mention that she's a mom. You're like, well, go easy on her. She's a mom. Snapped the images to pay homage to Rihanna's Savage Fenty lingerie line. I mean, there's a way to do that where you're not naked. According to the rep, Dolezal got her hands on the latest batch of lingerie from the label and wanted to show it off for her subscribers. Indeed, one of the 4 leaked pictures shows her clad in one of the brand's bodysuits with her booty on display. The snap shows the Montana-born woman sporting a previously unseen tattoo of the word justice across her butt cheek. No justice, no cheeks. That would have been a good tattoo. Oh, wow. Okay. The post has reached out to Dolezal's rep for comments about the leak and the tattoo. I wonder if this was a paid collab and these photos were meant to be leaked so that it would be advertising for this lingerie line.
I mean, I don't know. But fun fact, because she was a part of the NAACP, right?
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, so that organization is a communist front. And Manning Johnson that I just talked about, he mentioned it in his book how it's run by white communists, and
wow.
it's basically just a way to sort of like get all the blacks on board. And it is, I have spoken about this before, the rise in people, mostly women, having OnlyFans accounts is very concerning to me because sexually traumatized people are also easier to manipulate. And they're very easy to manipulate. And if you got people going into OnlyFans with the thought of, I'm going to make a lot of money, I can be my own boss, those people aren't really going to consider the aftermath. What happens 10 years from now when I don't want to do this anymore and my past keeps haunting me? What happens if people in my family see it and I don't want them to see it? And people underestimate the psychological trauma that they could go to as a result of that stuff. And so not even, also to mention, you also have this, if you look around, there's this culture of sort of like this sexual liberation, you know, screw whoever you want. I don't need to pull out the data on STDs in this country. It's pretty damn high. And mix that with high abortions, you have a really bad mess. So I'm all for people doing whatever the heck they want to do with their life, but that's not normal. Like, it's not normal for a big chunk of the population all of a sudden to be OnlyFans people or cam girls or whatever.
Right.
Like, it's just not normal.
Very easy to be a prostitute, and it's glamorized. It's wrapped up in this package of, I mean, gosh, the money is great. You don't have to work for some lame job. You can just, you know, send the type of photos you would send to your boyfriend, just put them on OnlyFans, and you're gonna get, you know, jackpot validation, you know, like Instagram, but probably even more likes and comments. I mean, I don't know if there's likes on OnlyFans. I'm not even on it, but like just jackpot dopamine rush, all the good feels, all the money. But exactly, once it's out on the internet, you have zero control over who sees it. And your future kids maybe sees it, your family. And it's just, they've made it so easy, and they don't call it prostitution, but that's like, in a sense, it kind of is. And I also worry about, you know, like maybe a guy who has a problem in his relationship, or like, you know, him and his spouse have been like kind of mutually ignoring each other, and like the quick fix is like sub to some gal on OnlyFans, jerk off, chat with her, whatever. Like, you get that hit, and it's like the procrastination. It's like another reason. Whereas, like, maybe if that wasn't an option to you, you would be like, I mean, of course, you're never going to get rid of porn ever. But I think it's just such a massive distraction, and it can really ruin relationships if people are looking to avoid and just.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something there's been research that shows since the lockdown started, more predominantly men have been like, it's gone through the roof. There's so many guys now that are addicted to porn where they have to see some random person on the internet. And the other layer to this is that, because I know a lot of people that have OnlyFans and do that as like a side hustle. But the other layer to this is these men who are watching these videos, yes, they could be someone who is having trouble in their own relationships and they want to break that habit. But then there is also a high likelihood of consuming porn of someone that is being sex trafficked. Like, you don't know. How do you know?
Right. And it's the same thing, the point you brought up about there's a high percentage of people on OnlyFans that were like sexually traumatized, right? It's like I've talked to and interviewed so many adult film stars, and it's undeniable how many of them have been molested or had some sort of like sexual trauma. And there's also a large percentage of folks who wind up, trying to transition or wrapped up in like the trans mess, who have also been like sexually abused, and they think they want to transition, but it's really just like a deep hatred of their bodies and a deep hurt of the pain and suffering. It's the same reason why like some people will gain a ton of weight after they get molested. It's like they're literally physically protecting themselves from anybody going near them again. And same thing, it's like we're ignoring the root issues here and covering them up with like, all right, big pharma can swoop in and take advantage. Like, we'll make you a customer for life. We'll convince you that you need these very, profitable surgeries. Like, great for us. We can make all this money. And like, they don't give a fuck if it fixes you, right? Or you wind up being more suicidal than you were before. Yeah. And it's just, everywhere I look, I see corporations taking advantage of people's weak moments or mental health issues. And
yeah.
It's like once you start to see it, you're like, oh, I see it everywhere. And
everywhere.
Did you know for $9.99 a month, fans can access Rachel Dolezal's OnlyFans?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all set with that.
She vowed to upload at least 3 times a week, claiming that. And that's the thing too, is like, that's what I worry about, like single women, like trying to meet men and also doing OnlyFans. The money is so great, I'm sure, but like it becomes like a true full-time job. And it's like, this is time taken away from like you really trying to get out there and like meet a partner. And if you're like spending all your emotional dollars on like your subscribers, you can't tell me that's not going to have an effect on you trying to, like, how many emotional dollars are you going to have left for like a potential partner or like a man that you actually could fall in love with?
Not even that too. I mean, that's a good point, but you also got you got to factor in that you're also devaluing yourself for someone that you can potentially be with. And there's data on that. Like, I haven't checked specifically with like the correlation of women that have OnlyFans and how they deal with that in new relationships, but just women in particular who have, like, they call it a high body count and sleep with lots of people. Their likelihood of them settling down with someone decreases as they get older, for several reasons. We can probably imagine some of the reasons, but a lot of guys, especially now, I'm noticing a lot more men be encouraged to be more manly and masculine and not these beta males, as they call them. And a lot of them don't want women that are half naked online. They just don't want that.
Yeah, and I read that, like, and it's interesting because like you never get this information like when I was like young in my 20s, and like you think like, oh right, this is how I keep myself safe from heartbreak, is by hookup culture, right? It's kind of pitched to you like this is the modern way to live your life. Like you can pay for your own stuff, hook up with whoever, none of this will affect you. And then I've read so much that like, no, like the higher your body count is, like it can actually affect your ability to like connect with a guy. And like you may have a great guy in front of you and you might not feel a deep connection because you just you spend yourself. It's crazy.
And I heard that. I've heard that throughout my life with the argument about porn and guys, is like they get this skewed perception about what it means to like be intimate with a woman. But on the other side of it, you have the women who get this skewed perception of what being wanted entails, or what they see as valuable within themselves. Like I see so many cringe TikTok videos of girls that are like they're twerking, and I saw one, she was like twerking and she looked at the camera, she was just like, I know you want this. I'm like, ew, like who gave you that impression? You just making things up.
Yeah. Why? How did you get so confident?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's like who is best suited to do OnlyFans? It's like, all right, if you're a single woman looking for a guy, like, okay, that's gonna take away time and like your energy. Okay, well, what if you're in a relationship? Well, how is that not gonna be a problem in your relationship? You know what I mean? Like if you're getting all your validation from like your customers, then like what is your man like what does he have to do? Like, does he have to step it up even more? Is there like weird competition now? It's like are your customers going to be more charming than your actual man? So like that's could be a problem. And then so what if you're married? Okay, what if you have kids? Like, all right, same thing. Like
Yeah.
it's you're commodifying your emotional connections with people. You're literally putting a price on having a relationship with you. Even if you tell yourself, "Oh, it's just physical, it's just pictures." It's like a big part of the OnlyFans thing is the messaging and the personal connection, which I know a lot of girls will outsource. Like they'll have, Phil in India actually responding to your messages because they'll get inundated. But then I feel bad for guys too because they think they're actually talking with like Lana Rhodes or who I don't think she's on OnlyFans, but like whatever, their favorite porn star or something. And it's like, no, you're talking to a dude who's getting paid $20 an hour.
That's what you get for even using these sites anyway. You get to talk with Ben.
I just think we're gonna see. I feel like there's gonna be books about this in like the next 10 years or so, like the negative effects of OnlyFans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From Jake CB. Whoopi Goldberg was great in Jumping Jack Flash. She chomped a Soviet commie in The Boys at the climax. Spelling mistake required by YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah, Whoopi had a time. Young Pei Chang. Gothix, have you heard about the book The Case Against the Sexual Revolution by Louise Perry? Bridget Fedesi had an interesting piece on her Substack a while ago about reacting to the forward. My copy literally just came in today. I can't wait to read it. I cannot wait to read this book.
I'm looking it up right now. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's basically talks about everything we've been discussing.
Nice.
Like the sexual revolution has benefited a small percentage of men and ultimately has like screwed women over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's based, as they say.
It is based. That's I do like that term. The other thing I forgot to mention too with this whole sexual revolution thing is because it's so more common to see. Like I cannot open up Twitter or Instagram in public without seeing booty cheeks on my screen. So, how are most kids connected? Social media. So they're gonna see booty cheeks on their screen. Oof. And when I was in high school, I already knew kids that were freshman year, even before that, junior high, that were pregnant. So sex is already being introduced like 15, 20 years ago.
Earlier than your little brain can like handle what's actually happening. Oh God, I was shopping the other day, like in a physical store, which is rare. But I was like in this store shopping and I heard the lady who worked there talking to another lady who worked there. She was like, oh my God, my 15-year-old daughter, there's a guy that likes her in her school, also 15, sending her pictures of boobs, just like, I guess, random internet boobs in the hopes that like she would then respond with a picture of her own boobs. And I'm like, that's horrible. Like, imagine being a 15-year-old girl and you're like, oh, you're being sent someone else's boobs. Meanwhile, like yours may not even have come in yet,
Yeah. That's weird.
And like,
yeah, that's weird.
Oof, I worry that it's like teaching our kids like there's going to be people with very twisted sense of how relationships should go.
Yeah.
And how they should express themselves in those relationships.
Absolutely. I totally believe it.
I was like, that sounds messy. But again, like, yeah, every generation has its challenges.
Yeah, I think our generation is the most challenged mentally.
Yeah, for sure. Mental health is way more of a thing. And yeah, far more people are on like multiple pharmaceuticals. And every time I see one of these, like it's always a woman having like an outburst in a store, like screaming or something. It's like let's check what meds this person is on, because a lot of the side effects include like these kind of insane outbursts.
Yeah, I hate those videos where they take videos of people having these weird outbursts, because it's like, first of all, you only get a small percentage of what the context is. You don't see what happens before or after that. And it's usually like people saying like this is a racist Karen or something like that. But I'm like, what underlying issues does that person have? Like maybe they're at the end of their rope. Maybe they've got something seriously wrong with them. And I think that's the other part of it is how comfortable people are to take videos of strangers and post them on the internet. Like we've gotten so comfortable with that.
True. And especially when you're like, oh, this is a video of somebody getting beaten up, but like, I'm not going to jump in and break this fight up. I think I'd be a little bit more sympathetic towards like a woman having a meltdown. I think we all know like what clip is that like we're thinking of, the one that just came out where like the woman like cut this guy in line and she's like, I was raped, get away from me, and she starts shrieking. It's like, I would be on this woman's side a little bit more. Like if she was just having a meltdown, like bad day, having a breakdown, okay. But it's like she's blaming this man who she cut off in line. She's blaming him for her breakdown. And like, I'm the victim. He's the aggressor. Get him away from me. And like, this guy didn't do anything. It's very hard to be on her side when that's happening. Let's see. I just got the clip sent to me. I'm going to play it. And I feel you on that though. Like I do sometimes feel bad for them too. But now when she's yelling at this guy, it was not his fault at all.
I didn't touch you, man. I was raped not that long ago, and I can't stand another man touching me. Well, no one did that. Is this a prank? He won't go away. He needs to go away.
And I think this guy started recording it because he probably was like, I think I have to cover my ass, like in case somebody comes through and like accuses me of, harming this girl physically or something.
Yeah, like I still wouldn't have posted it. Like I totally get, like trust me, there were times that I wanted to take my phone out just so I can have something to cover my ass if anything went down. But also like this woman got problems, and that's unfortunate if what she's saying is actually true. You got to address those problems. You can't just go off on people in public.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Yeah, because like, is this going to be her last meltdown? I doubt it.
I need to leave. I still got.
This woman kicks ass. Like
she
she really,
some of my stuff.
she really handled it well.
Yeah.
Hell if I.
And I liked pointing out earlier, like he's just trying to buy some bats, and I think this is a trick or treat bag, and maybe this is a frame or soda or what. I don't know what this is. This is definitely a single man's shopping cart.
Yeah.
Hell if I know. I'm so sorry. She wasn't sorry when she cut in line. And then screamed
That's crazy.
to make it.
That's what I don't like. It's like I'm not sympathetic of your breakdown when you are shrieking at this guy who did nothing.
Yeah.
Asked her if she saw anyone in line. That's an adult.
Yeah, no, she needs time out. Oh no.
See, that's why I think it's like this is a emotionally, like she stopped emotionally developing at like whatever age that her trauma happened, and she hadn't worked on herself.
Yeah, well, she said recently in the clip she got raped recently, and either or. I have a hard time believing it based on how she was acting, but if that's the case, you got to get that figured out.
Yeah, it's like keep your mental breakdown to yourself.
Yeah, please.
That's what my dad would say. Gothix, love you, love your channel. This is from 860 Cyan God. Love you, love your channel. I enjoyed your last video. By chance, can you recommend a Thomas Sowell book?
Oh man,
I know of him, but I never read his books.
Yeah, so Thomas Sowell, I don't know if it's Soul or Sowell. I never learned. So I always recommend Basic Economics. It will debunk all of the socialist utopian fantasies that people have. Most people don't understand anything about economics. Yeah, I would say that. I haven't read too many of his books. I have a lot of them. I have to actually get into them because he is so intelligent. The way that he writes, it's like, these are big words. I'm gonna have to go look up this word. I gotta pause and go back. Yeah. So I don't really have any other recommendations for you. I would say start with that.
That sounds like a good one. He's another person I've been meaning
Yeah.
to buy his books and get into it. But same
Just-
thing, I have like so many books. I haven't
Yeah, I
read.
have a lot. I need to get a bookshelf, but I would also say, just watch his lectures, watch his interviews. You can learn a lot from those.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. From Jesse Meek, thanks for the 10. The revolution of phone with cameras and social media has introduced a sense of detachment and a belief of anonymity that makes kids think they can get away with things we never thought we could.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was
It's taken away humanity. It's taken away privacy. And it's like it's become so culturally acceptable to not have privacy. In fact, like our own government promotes a lack of privacy. So
And you know what the thing is, like I said, my brain sometimes I just think about things randomly, and I was like, how people are so comfortable taking videos of other people, taking photos and posting them. You basically are doing the surveillance for the government.
oof. Yes, that is a really good point. Yeah. Like I've had FBI agents call me and be like, "Is this your video?
Are you
We wanna-
serious?
We want to from January 6th." Yeah, like is this your video? Because we want to use it to persecute somebody. It's so yeah, that is a real thing. And I'm sure they're calling up tons of people trying to confirm different videos because they want to use it for to lock some person up. So it's fucking crazy. It's crazy out there. Let's see. We talked about that. Okay. This would be one more kind of fun article. Sticking with the theme here. I love Daily Mail female. It's so great. It's like the latest in female news. Hailey Bieber is slammed for cultural appropriation after sharing makeup tutorial for brownie glazed lips as critics accuse her of trying to take over a trend that Black and Latina women have been doing for years. Bieber, who's 25, showcased her favorite lip makeup combo on TikTok and described the result as a brownie glazed lips. The name was clearly a nod to her glazed donut aesthetic. I didn't know she had a glazed donut aesthetic. The more I read this, the more like, this is so fucking dumb. Why do I even read this? The principal message is behind her. A skincare line. That's what this is all about. Fans of the model soon began to praise the star for starting the new beauty trend for the fall season, despite the fact that the look has always been popular. Social media users were quick to point out that the beauty look has been popular with Black, brown, Latina women since the 90s. Furious beauty lovers proceeded to call out the fashion star for appropriating the makeup technique by failing to credit her source of inspiration.
Let's see it.
I feel like this just looks very 90s to me.
It's 90s and it's so insulting. I'm a Black and Latinx woman. I don't put makeup on like that. So where are you getting that from? And why do people need where's the pride coming from where you have to get recognition for something like makeup?
Right. What do you actually get if you were to get the quote credit you deserve for this lip look? Like, what does that actually get you? It's a power thing, I guess. Is it a way to like, right? We have been conditioned to hate this group of people. Like you look, and I get Hailey Bieber, probably very hateable for a lot of people. She's young, she's beautiful, she's married to Justin Bieber, super rich. You look at her, you go, she has it all. Let's try to take her down a peg by saying no. That you can't have that look.
Yeah, that's it's just so stupid. It's like the conversation of like cultural appropriation. Like, why do you care? And what does it do for you? Okay, no one appropriates, no one takes quote unquote your style. Now what? Did your life change? No, it didn't.
Right. What do you do with all that credit? Like, do you make more money? Are you gonna achieve your goals?
Yeah, I think it's just people who strive for acceptance. People just obsessed with it.
A ton of women overline their lips. Like I've seen all kinds of women do this style.
Yeah, this is 90s.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so dumb. But I feel like ultimately, this is just good backlash for her because she gets to promote her skincare line.
Yeah,
and we're all just tricked. I've been tricked into talking about it.
Been tricked. See, is that they call it the Streisand effect? Been tricked.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go get glazed donut lips or whatever. Oh my god. Actually, a donut would be great right about now.
Mm.
Okay,
I like
one more
donuts.
from Crash Avado. Is it just me or does Haley Bieber look like a trans Keegan Michael Key? Oh my god.
I don't even know who that is.
I think she's pretty and I think she's a good actress. But yes, I think I will accept that as a funny observation. Thank you, Crash. Gothix, thank you so much for joining me today. You are super smart. I love your stuff. Keep doing what
thanks.
you're doing. I'm just
Thank you.
obsessed with you. Tell the good people where they can. I mean, after our conversation about getting off social media, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. Sometimes I say stupid things. At Gothix TV on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on YouTube at Gothix TV, and I also started a second channel where I'm going to be doing more live streams and all that jazz, but you can find that on my main YouTube channel.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much to the chat for your questions and comments. And until next time, bye.
Bye.